Ever since the day that you went away, you went away.
Hi guys, if you're new here, my name is Andra. I make commentary videos on pop culture and influencers. The other day I made a video on the whole Bratphobic situation, and as I was editing my video, I think it was like when it was actually rendering, she came back to Instagram. So because I was quite proud of my video and because I think my opinions weren't strong in either way, as in accusing her of lying or dismissing the allegations made against her, if you can even call them that, because they're not real allegations. My opinions were mostly neutral, so I decided to post it because I think it speaks of a bigger issue. And I think with this second part I will discuss her comeback, so the story is not incomplete and so that I don't leave out evidence that I've seen on purpose. And I want to discuss the bigger overlying problem that is part of this as well, because I think this is a problem with the internet culture and cancel culture in general that is worth of discussing. So Bratphobic came back to the internet with some receipts that she's posted explaining herself and the whole situation. The first one was a post with who is supposed to be her family. So these are the pictures she's posted. The last one is the boy that she was accused of being pre-transition, but she denies obviously that. And I said I'm not gonna post the child, but I've decided that because she posted it, so already everybody knows about it, then I will not hide it anymore because it's already public, but I will obviously blur out his face like I've said. Her caption on this post was, "Sorry for taking a flat out leaving instead of addressing. I wasn't thinking in the moments and freaked out over being outed," which I'll get into later. But firstly, I would like to address the comments about my race. I am Blasian and there's proof to back this up. My sister herself has come forward to address my race, and I've had old in real life friends who have seen my parents come out and confirm that I'm actually Blasian. I'm including them here on the first and second slide because at this point I feel like it's the only way to actually get this point across. I also want to address one piece of misinformation that has had people calling me a white woman, which is not true in the slightest. I've shown on here on the last slide that person that was supposedly me is actually his link. I'll also be addressing more, but I feel having this a separate post will actually have people read them fully and understand. Another post that she's made is this with her video. Secondly, I want to talk about editing photos. I've had this video go around saying it's me without Facetune, but if you check the dates, the original video which I took from like almost a year before they posted, there is the one that is unaltered. Now I obviously edited my pictures, which I have said multiple times, but I did not change my race and make my eyes look more Asian help. The next post is now I want to address the reason why I left. A lot of people are saying that I left because I'm guilty, but that's not the case. A lot has happened in the past few months and it's been very hard for me. From suddenly getting outed to people spreading really bad lies about me. I would also like to say here I've never said the N-word or called anyone the T-slur. I can pull up the original post to show what I said, but that would just cause more chaos. I just couldn't handle it and my mental health was absolutely deteriorating. I had to get away from social media to heal myself and regroup before I came back to address everything. I should have done it sooner, but I generally couldn't without making a fool out of myself from freaking out. Now that we got that out of the way, I would like to apologize to anyone I may have hurt by hitting my face on theirs. I had no ill or sick intentions, and now that I've reevaluated, I can now admit that I was very much in the wrong and was weird of me to do. I genuinely apologize for the pictures again. I had no idea they would cause so much damage to the people involved, and I blame myself for allowing myself to think it was okay to do that. My problem with this, to be honest, is that she doesn't mention the fact that she edited herself on another woman while also making her skinnier, because I think that is part of the conversation of her promoting eating disorders. I can understand her wanting to take a break from the internet because people were coming really hard at her. So yeah, I can understand why she felt the need to do so. This is the last post that she's posted as of right now. Just as for proof I'm not lying about my race, I gathered as many family members that wouldn't beat my ass if they saw this post. I'm not close with most of them, but I got as many as I could. And a few of the comments that I've seen going around are that the whole situation was an outlet for transphobia, which I would agree with, to be honest. I've also seen this person underlying the fact that Bratphobic has actually lied before about putting her face on other people's bodies. With the angel wings picture, did you put your face on someone else's body? No. You all, I said the hoodie was edited in a comment, but I'm still taking it down because the girl is uncomfortable. I'll take my L and go. you edit your whole face onto mine. And I wasn't wrong for that story. So at least she apologized to this girl, but it's still like, I can imagine how it felt so weird for that girl. If it's false, why did you disappear, babe? I got out in a trance to like over 100k people. I didn't even care about defending myself. I just wanted to be gone. I don't need people knowing my business like that. And I can understand that. As I said, like, mental health comes first. And I said before, I would have liked for her to clarify, and I'm kind of glad that she came back, because you can't let the internet run you over like that. And apparently the person who posted the original video claiming that Bratphobic is that white guy, or was that white guy before transition, is actually a transphobic person that is apparently cis pretending to be trans, but I don't know too much about that, so I'm just gonna leave this at that, because I don't want to argue and practically do the same thing that other people have done to Bratphobic. Also, this comment was kind of confusing to me, because apparently her sister said that they have some white ancestry. That's it, I'm done supporting you. You made your sister defend you on Twitter, and she admitted you are black, Asian, and white. Yet now when someone calls you white, it's not true in the slightest. You like a comment when someone calls you melanin queen. You like when someone calls you an Asian person, but calling you white is bad. You're definitely playing a race game and it's disgusting. Now, here's the thing. I don't know if this person is referring to the concept of, you know, POC being racist against whites, because that doesn't exist in the West. That is not how the dynamics work in America, which is, I assume, where these people are from. I don't know if that's what they're referring to, but I think pointing out the lie that apparently her sister said is worthwhile, whereas I don't agree with the whole comment. I just wanted to point out that apparently this is a thing. And I also want to take a moment to talk about something educational instead. This comment calling white people Caucasian is historically wrong, because the term Caucasian refers to people from the Caucasian Mountains or the Kafkas, and a lot of these people are not white. The first skeleton that they found when they decided that the white race is supposedly gonna be called Caucasian is a Georgian person's skull, which might not have been a white person, but some German scientist who thought that that beauty standard that people in the Caucasian mountains had was the superior beauty standard, decided to call the white race Caucasian. But actual people who live in the Caucasian region, most of whom, as I said, are not white, they are Asian, they don't like that terminology to be associated with white Westerners, because they are not the same ancestry. So as somebody whose family is part Russian, I would like that to be known. I want everyone to understand, regardless of the situation, it's never okay to out someone. Yeah, and that's my conclusion as well. Like the big overarching conclusion of this situation. Please let people know you are a minor. I think people are being really harsh because they're expecting you to be as mature as you look, like in your 20s, but in reality you're a kid who made a mistake. I think that should be made clear. I would agree with that. I think a lot of people assume that she's an adult and that's why they went so hard, but maybe don't go so hard even on adults, because people have feelings regardless of their age. So yeah, I would say that would be a good thing. And I think that would kind of defeat the purpose of some of the content she's making, because I genuinely think that teenagers on this app are sexualizing themselves a lot and putting themselves in danger to predators. And I don't want to sound like a boomer saying all this, but I am worried for some people her age. So I think that transparency would be good. Please address the fake mugshot and why you put the weight as 80 pounds. I am genuinely confused about that as well. Apparently it was kind of a meme, but she changed the weight from 180 pounds, which is, let me check, 81 kilograms, to 80 pounds, which is 36 kilograms. And I don't think anybody at 15 should be 36, because I was like super skinny and I was 40 something when I was 15, and I'm quite tall as well, so maybe if you're short you can be like 40, but 36 sounds like, I don't know, insane. And now to kind of expand this conversation onto like more societal problems, I think there are a few conclusions we can draw from this whole thing, and I've kind of summed it up as 4 different main conclusions. The first one is the changing beauty standards, and the ever-changing beauty standards are reasons why people try to look like other races, which I think is wrong. But if you look at how, you know, what the beauty standards used to be like before, talking about the West right now, compared to what they are now, and if you look at beauty standards in other countries as well, there are countries in like Asia where people bleach their skin to look whiter, whereas in America, women will fake tan to the point that they look racially ambiguous, although most of them are white. And it's just like a big discussion on when is it too much and when is it problematic. So I don't know, I have seen a really good video about this. I'm gonna search for a few more to put in the description for you guys. The second thing is cancel culture, which we always kind of denounce as commentary channels, even like big commentary channels have talked about how it's more important to put an accent on like accountability culture rather than cancel culture, and I agree with that because people jumped the gun. Everybody was accusing her, they scared her, and that is why she didn't like want to explain herself right away, because she was intimidated and scared, which is valid in my opinion. So yeah, cancel culture needs to reserve itself to like actual predators and dangerous people, and for people who just make mistakes, it should be more like accountability culture, and then you can decide individually whether you support it or not, or support the person in general or not. Social media isn't real life, so that's like the third conclusion. I think a lot of people know, but at the same time it's good to like reiterate her heavily editing herself. That's not what a real person looks like, and the way that she's edited her waist is something that a lot of people do. It can be triggering to people with eating disorders if they take what's on Instagram too seriously and pressure themselves a lot, that, you know, something can happen, people can die from this, and we should just advise caution and not necessarily denounce editing altogether, but at least denounce people who edit and they don't actually admit to doing so, because as of right now, I don't see Bratphobic having ever admitted that she edits her body, as in her weight. Like, she said she edits her pictures, but that is not really explicit enough for me. It needs to be more of an explanation on this front, because I feel like teenage girls who are quite insecure, because when you're a woman you always have pressures on you, but especially in your teenage years when you're not strong enough to like stand your ground, people will bully you over everything. And you know, I used to be called like anorexic in school and stuff because I was so skinny, and I hated that, but I feel like a lot of girls, they have to suffer the other way of not being considered skinny enough, and they get bullied, and so they will have eating disorders, and it's really, really sad because eating disorders can affect your life in the future. If you're a teenager and you have one, you can you can be unable to have babies in the future. If you want to be a mother, you cannot after some of them. So it's just like a lot of dangers that teenage girls are exposed to on the internet, and I think I would advise caution, and I would advise people who Photoshop their body or their face heavily to look like a different person to at least put some disclaimers somewhere. And the last thing is that we shouldn't demand people to come out because we can trigger them. I think Bratphobic ultimately is somebody who has a lot of body dysmorphia, and I'm not sure if she is trans or not, but even if she is not trans, she could still have body dysmorphia, obviously, because people with EDs have that, and I think she does have that, and I don't want to like assume too much about her, but I think it's important to not demand explanations from people online, because they are only showing us a certain aspect of their life. They have no obligation to tell us everything. She's never lied. If, let's say, if she's trans, she's never lied. She's only omitted talking about this. She's never been asked and said, no, I'm cis. So ultimately, you can't call her a liar for not revealing everything about her own life. And I guess the big thing is, where do we go from here? So I've seen people saying that they don't believe that those pictures are of her family and that she probably got them from Google, which is not impossible, but I think ultimately you need to decide for yourself whether you want to believe it or not, because if we continue to make this a show on the internet and bully people, like, this is the last video I'm making about this because I feel like it's a conversation that is bigger than just her, but I'm not going to go and look at what she's up to in the future, because genuinely I don't want people to feel like, you know, they're being spied on, they're being watched under a microscope. That is not how a child, effectively, if she's 15, should live like. And if you don't have proof that she's lying with this, if you don't find the pictures on Google, then don't cause this drama to continue, because there are other people on the internet who are like far worse and far more problematic that you need to be talking about, and you choose to fixate on this. It's just really weird. But yeah, this is today's video. I don't really know what more to say. I will be no longer talking about this unless something crazy happens, but otherwise I want to just kind of like leave her alone. She has obviously grown up to do. It's good that she's been held accountable, but it's not good that people had to do this through transphobia and just a lot of accusations and a lot of insulting. That's just not the way to educate a teenager, because she has 10 more years, if she's 15, to develop herself intellectually, and you just expect something from a 15-year-old that you would expect from an adult. Like, obviously photoshopping your pictures to look like someone else is wrong, and yeah, maybe she should know that, but you don't know her childhood, you don't know how sheltered she's been, you don't know if her parents ever talked to her about this, if her parents even use technology. Like, there are a lot of things that are conditional when it comes to this. So let me know what you think about this. Like this video if you liked it, subscribe to my channel for more content, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
day that you